as seen. If you have any questions, remember, I'm always here to ask. Just as important as it is to understand hardware and the input-output devices that you use, as well as the inner makings of the computer, such as the CPU, the power supply, the IDE cable, the motherboard, RAM, ROM, which are both the memory, and other important components, it is important to understand software. So what is software? Well, software is defined as the programs that give the hardware useful functionality. Can anyone guess the two categories software is divided into? Well, if you said operating software, known as OS, and application software, known as AS, you were correct. In the previous slide, I mentioned that there are two types of categories software can be divided into. One is operating software, or OS, and the other is application software, or AS. Operating software is the software that allows the user to communicate with the computer. It is the main software that must be loaded onto a computer in order for the user to communicate with it. Sometimes operating software is referred to as your operating system. An example is Microsoft Windows or Mac OS or Linux. So what is application software? Well, if operating software allows the user to communicate with the computer, application software is individualized programs that a user can use to perform a certain task. For instance, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Internet Explorer, Google Docs, Google Spreadsheets, Firefox. These are all application software because they are programs designed for a user to perform a task. Now, what is freeware? Well, freeware is application software or operating software that's free. And paidware, well, that's software that you pay for. So why should you care? Well, when push comes to shove, we always like to save money, right? And in order to save money, it's useful to sometimes find out which software programs we can use that are free. So is freeware legal? Sometimes there's hesitancy because people are afraid that if they use freeware, they're breaking a law or the freeware might cause a virus. Well, it's always important to be very critical of the software you're going to use. So you should always make sure what you're using is legal and is virus-free. But some freeware softwares are very safe. And in this class, we'll learn what safe freeware is, as well as what some paidware is. And you will develop those tasks and skills. Now that you know the difference between operating software and application software, and you understand hardware, it is now time for me to discuss how you utilize these in order to process and store data. In your computer, we have what are called drives. If you remember from Lesson 1, we learned that the C drive is the hard drive. We learned that the D drive in most computers is typically a CD/DVD drive. We learned that the E drive or the F drive is usually a removable storage drive or a USB port. We also learned that the A drive in older computers is a 3.5-inch floppy drive. Well, within drives, we create what are called folders. is a bunch of files you might save. Now, it is important to understand that folders reside in your storage area, and we need to learn how you access them in an easily manageable way. So, the next few slides diagram this. Please pay close attention, as this is how I will have you access files within our class. Thank you. In order to make sure that you understand how to easily access files within your computer, I am going to teach you how to do so. The following ways and steps are essential in order to make it easy for both you and this class. So I hope that this helps. In our first diagram on the slide, I'd like you to check out the fact that the blue bar says My Computer. The blue bar that says My Computer means that you are staring at the My Computer dialog box. I access this by simply going to my desktop, finding the My Computer icon, and double-clicking on it. When I double-clicked on the My Computer icon on my desktop, this box popped up. The next thing I'd like you to notice is the blue arrow. The minute the blue arrow is pointing to the word address, the address tells you that you are in My Computer. That is your location. This is also showing you what the purple arrow is pointing at, which is the column of all the drives that are in My Computer, or the network drive that My Computer has access to. You see, the C drive, if you remember from Lesson 1, is our computer's hard drive. The DVD-CD drive is our D drive. I have in a USB drive because my removable disk E drive is activated. The L drive, the P drive, the R drive, the W, the X, the Y, and the Z drive, well, those are all network drives. The L drive is a very important drive for my class. This is the drive that you will be using to access files I want to give you. So it is very important that you understand how to get to the L drive. The simple way is to double-click on My Computer and double-click on the L drive. If you notice, the very last drive in the column is the Z drive. You have a Z drive